All right, let's get started, and happy to see people are joining. So welcome to these weeks of PTC Talks, where we are excited by having Chris from aPriori and David from PTC for a session on the new era of digital transformation and how aPriori and PTC drive measurable impact. But first, a very quick introduction by me. So my name is Torbjörn Pettersson, and I'm the Alliance Manager for PTC, leading these weekly webinars where we invite speakers for some inspiration on digital transformation, to see what is possible and how to make things happen. And we are running all those webinars on Fridays, 3 times a month, same time, with topics around either manufacturing, services, or engineering. And all the past webinars have also been recorded to be seen on the registration site. The agenda for today is first a very quick overview of PTC by myself, and then Chris and David will run the show where they will touch base on a few challenges, how to address these, and then also explain some of the business outcomes. And that then we're also having a Q&A session, so please keep your questions to the end, or you may also put them in the chat, and we will pick them up later on during the Q&A. Next slide, please, Chris. So just a very quick overview of PTC. For those who don't know us, we are a global software company with a headquarters in Boston, and we provide market-leading solutions on IoT, augmented reality, PLM, CAD, SLM, and ALM through the digital thread to help companies to accelerate their digital transformation. Now over to you, David.
Next slide. Thanks. So I'm David van Och, Senior Solution Consultant at PTC, and I used to be a customer of both PTC and aPriori in the past myself, implementing the software from both. Now, manufacturers today face constant pressure to simultaneously increase profitability and sustainability. And aPriori is uniquely positioned to provide automated manufacturing insights to cut cost, reduce carbon emission, and improve productivity from early as product design through production. Now, expanding our relationship will help our customers capitalize on the full breadth of capabilities and their PTC investments to make product decisions quickly and confidently. Now, PTC and aPriori will pursue a greater interoperability between windchill and aPriori software. Together, these solutions enable designers to review designs in creo parametric and windchill and generate reports and part cost, manufacturability, and environmental footprint. With this, I would like to introduce Chris from aPriori Technologies. Chris, up to you.
Great, thanks David and Toby. It's so great to be here. Well, hello to everybody and welcome. As mentioned, I'm Chris Jesnak. I lead the product marketing team here at aPriori. And some of my background, mechanical engineer. I've also worked for leading manufacturers from sensors and electromechanical parts to metal formed fasters and different types. So experience there in engineering, and I've been leading the aPriori product marketing team for the past 3 years. For those who might not be familiar with aPriori, I wanted to just take a quick glance at who we are. And so I'll take a look at our mission statement here. We empower manufacturers to unlock and identify new opportunities rapidly for innovation, growth, cost savings, and also sustainability. We look to boost manufacturers' digital thread investments to deliver business value at scale, increase agility, and minimize risk. So if you take a look here at really what we do at aPriori, it's really 3 main areas. 1, we help leading manufacturers improve profitability. 2nd, we help improve manufacturability, or you might refer to this as design for manufacturability. And then 3rd, help with sustainability goals, specifically in product carbon footprint. But it's really about the power of all 3 together. And as we make decisions in one, we want to know what's the impact on the other. And so we do this through our Manufacturing Insights platform. We've been doing this for 20 years. And similar to PTC, we're also headquartered in the Boston area with a global team of several hundred. Some of the success stories before we come in, you can see on the right-hand side here. The one that I like to call out is with Dan Foss. I believe a lot of the attendees likely are getting a lot of questions in design engineering, product engineering, and so NPI is very important to have consistent reduction in target costs. They were able to achieve 20 to 30% by standardizing a product cost structure using aPriori. But that's not it. There's other areas of the product life cycle, and if you look at the value cycle that customers are able to get. We had a leading construction equipment manufacturer save $1 million in 1 hour by negotiating supplier costs. And similarly here, Alstom was able to reduce supplier costs by 40% by implementing a zero RFQ. Pretty amazing. And so, we'll take a look at more of this as we go throughout the session. And I'm excited. This is really the first of 6 sessions that we're kicking off here with PTC Tech Talks. Today is really an introduction to aPriori and our partnership with PTC, how we're driving measurable impact. And then on April 26th, we're going to be doing a session on product cost management. Then we're going to go on May 31st on the sustainability side. Then on June 7th, we'll take a look at design for manufacturability. And then June 14th, very hot topic lately, the role of AI and machine learning in manufacturing. And then lastly, end of June, we're going to wrap up to bring in a joint PTC aPriori customer to show an example of how leading manufacturers are achieving measurable impact. So more to come, and stay tuned. We'll go into much more detail in those sessions. I want to start off here with our approach at aPriori. Our unique approach to automate manufacturing insights specifically. It's really based on 3 core areas. First is really our ability to use 3D CAD geometry and analyze it. Our unique approach has recognized us with several awards for digital manufacturing for several straight years. And we have 6 patents covering our technology, including how to approach for feature-based costing using geometry and how the optimum manufacturing routing is selected. Secondly, it's not just ability to analyze 3D CAD and geometry. We need to be able to simulate that with real-world manufacturing scenarios. And so we've gone and analyzed and modeled 500 processes that we support. This could be from plastic injection molding to additive to casting to machining to electronics, you name it. We can do parts or assemblies. And we have over 230 DFM or design for manufacturability checks to help designers as they're designing and making changes in creo. Now we can see in real time what sort of feedback can we get and sort of for design for manufacturability. And then third here, it's also the ability to have great data and to be able to start somewhere right from the beginning. And so we do a lot of work going through and improving our global cost, carbon, and DFM data. We have over 90 regions globally out of the box that we can support, over 500 materials and 4,000 machines. So if you think about, and we're going to show an example later on, as I change from a 3-axis mill to 4 or 5-axis, what could be the impact there? And does my supplier have capability in order to do that? You can see a couple data partners there for sustainability. This is not exhaustive here, but EcoInvent is one of our partners. Kirchhoff Consulting for labor and economic data. And then for electronics, we partner with Silicon Expert. So if you take a look at this, with these 3 unique elements of our platform, really what you're able to do is automate cost, carbon, and manufacturability insights together. If you think about what that delivers for you, maybe as an engineer, procurement professional, or manufacturing engineer, think about faster analysis. Now at my fingertips, using a 3D CAD model, I can get those insights instantly in real time. Think about accuracy. Now I can maybe start to get into much more detail than I could before. And now I have a repeatable process so that anybody on the team can use this process in the same day, maybe week to week, to get those repeatable standard results. We're looking at really implementing higher cost reductions to improve profitability, less design risk, and then I can really make those trade-off decisions in evaluation. We're even seeing many of our customers start to use aPriori data and feed into different AI programs and projects that they have going on. So really exciting times here. Our solutions, when you take a look at our platform, really come in 4 main applications. AP Pro is a SaaS and on-prem tool to analyze cost, carbon, and DFM in detail. This is really all about improving outcomes across the team, across procurement, manufacturing, and design. AP Design is a CAD plugin and SaaS-based design tool. This is specifically designed for design engineering teams to improve their efficiency. Then AP Generate is our SaaS-based bidirectional PLM integration. Now we're looking at improving design team impact and scale across the entire product lifecycle. Now I'm getting automated emails telling me exactly which parts to focus on and when, upon as parts are checked into PLM. And then lastly, AP Workspace. It's our SaaS collaboration tool, and this helps improve design, procurement, and manufacturing team efficiency by being able to collaborate on the cloud in real time. And I can comment directly on 3D model geometry, features, or the data that's provided in aPriori from the 3 different applications shown on the left. I want to start here and show actually how AP design works and put all this in perspective. Here we go.
Introducing aPriori.
How much will your design cost? With aPriori, you can optimize product designs for cost, sustainability, and manufacturability, all in a single platform. To start, upload your 3D CAD model into the Manufacturing Insights platform. You simply pick from a list of manufacturing processes, such as machining, which is chosen here. Once you've selected the digital factory, then fill in the annual production volume details. This example shows 10,000 units annually for 3 years. Now you're ready to get manufacturing insights in seconds. The software simulates the complex manufacturing process and provides automated guidance for improvements. Because here there aren't any design issues, you can go straight to the optimum manufacturing process that the software recommends. Here, you have the flexibility to evaluate the manufacturing process multiple ways. You can choose cycle time for each process, fully burdened cost, or carbon equivalent emissions. And you can drill down to get more insights, such as examining material utilization based on available stock sizes. You can also examine product sustainability more closely by seeing where most of the carbon equivalent emissions are coming from. In this case, it's mostly coming from the material. As for cost, we provide a comprehensive view. You can see the cost of materials, piece part, and fully burdened cost, along with any capital investment required. All costs are broken out into material setup and labor costs, and anything else required to produce this design. With aPriori, you have the power to evaluate design alternatives quickly. To evaluate an alternative material, simply override the CAD material and choose a new material from the configurable built-in library. In this case, a lighter weight alloy. Following this change, we see that the material cost goes up, but there's a significant decrease in machining time, which provides a sizable cost saving. In this case, we save over 50% compared to the original. You can also create a range of scenarios to run trade-off studies, compare materials, manufacturing processes, and multiple factory locations. Here we have a range of scenarios that compare machining and casting in different locations. And we can compare all options simultaneously. The one that sticks out is the last one. It is machined from steel in one of our digital factory twins in China, but it is flagged as having a high DFM risk despite being from the same CAD model. We investigate by opening the scenario to examine the materials and processes used. The 3-axis mill is the chosen option, which tells us that there are not any 4 or 5-axis machines in the factory. Looking at our design guidance, we can see exactly which areas of the design are not suitable for the 3-axis manufacturing process. If you want to start leveraging manufacturing insights to improve your product profitability, sustainability, and manufacturability,
Great, so that's just a glimpse, an example there of how we can create cost, carbon, and DFM insights quickly. And we're able to really do this by combining several digital twin concepts together. One of the challenges we've heard from companies that they face is how to use digital twins beyond product twin, or essentially the 3D CAD model. Companies done a great job modeling products and creating product-centric digital twins. And the great news is that we can take that, build on it, and thread it together with digital processes and factories. We can now unlock these insights previously that companies just weren't able to get to before by bringing manufacturing knowledge right to the design engineer's workstation. The missing component is what actually goes on to build the product, the process, and the factory. We strongly believe that if companies can find new ways to expand the use of digital twins to processes and more holistically taking a look at the factory, the plant, or maybe at a supplier level, they're very well equipped to unlock these insights, again, that they just couldn't tap into before. So these are insights as you see on the right here. Very different elements of cost, carbon, and DFM. And really the power of this is to be able to see them all together at the same time. But we've found that there's some challenges out there that we all face, right? There's silos between teams, there's lack of resources, lack of time, and ability to scale. And one of these in particular is really having manual tools today that are really slowing down the team. I want to take a look at that a bit further. And when we take a look at the product development cycle that many of us are familiar with and use today, it likely looks something like this. Maybe your own stage gate process looks like something similar. Product starts as a concept in engineering, R&D engineering, and they move to a more detailed design stage and review process. After this, we might go to production planning. We start to involve many more teams. Maybe it's process engineering. Maybe it's involving sourcing and NPI sourcing and procurement teams. Maybe it's quality. Product management likely is involved along the way. But there's a lot that needs to be done there to prepare for when we are going full launch in mass production. Then we get to production, right? We bring in operations team, likely different quality teams, maybe ongoing sourcing and procurement groups. And then over time we go to, let's say sustain that in value engineering, value added engineering roles, where we now try to improve those products over time. But again, the challenge here is that often these teams are disconnected because we're using different tools. We're using tools that are manual, as slow analysis, and it doesn't support really the agile approach that we really need to take today to get to market faster. So what ends up happening is we don't have the right insights really at the right time, and that data remains siloed within these teams. But there's a way to address this, and we really believe that there are more ideas that are continuously funneled through the different stages of the development and product cycle. The faster that these teams can meet and beat their product goals, which might look similar to what you have here on the right. Maybe it's product profitability. Maybe it's just delivering that product on time to the customer. Maybe we've got sustainability goals we're weaving in for carbon footprint. Could be quality related or risk related. So teams across this cycle are constantly trying and challenging themselves to answer questions about the product design, the processes, and also the supply chain. You can see some questions that we show here. And these teams are all working on these common goals together. The idea is that the closer these teams work together, the faster that they can move at scale. And the earlier these ideas enter the funnel, furthest on the left here, the earlier the results can be achieved. They want and need to know this because all their product success and goals really are on the line. And whether it's regarding profitability, time, quality, you name it, really need that information earlier and often. We recently heard from one of our customers, a multi-billion-dollar automotive client, and a VP of engineering said that the cost of a development cycle is nearly $3 million to $5 million. It's a lot of money. If they have to go back and repeat work, this is what he was saying, due to a manufacturing issue, design issue, or simply being well over cost target, that's a lot of time and money that is potentially wasted. So it's all about putting these ideas in the left-hand side here and throughout the cycle to achieve more on the right to get to those goals. So what happens here when we don't inject these ideas and have an ability to really elevate and scale these ideas and insights all across the cycle? Well, you might be familiar with something looking like this. Products end up missing targets, maybe leading to low profits and other negative consequences. If we take a look here on this chart on the top, we've got cost and carbon on the axis here on the left. We have the product development cycle really representing time on the bottom. And when the blue line in the middle represents a target cost or carbon that we've set, hopefully maybe at the beginning here. And that can shift over time as we improve our knowledge. But the gray line represents over time our best guess estimate of where that cost or carbon really is going to land when it comes time to production. And if you follow that dotted gray line, as it goes forward from concept design to detailed design, it might go up, right? We get more information, we start involving different teams for planning. But then as we go along in production planning, maybe we start to identify ways to reduce cost. Maybe there's different ways to look at product architecture. We start to scale and reuse designs that were used before. But now as we get closer to production, this is all too familiar, is that we end up missing things. There's maybe elements of manufacturability that were missed, maybe elements of product costs that we weren't able to get to because we were under time pressure. We had resource constraints, and now we end up sustaining at that level above target cost for a period of time. And what that leads to could be missed profits. It could be maybe we lost that customer. And as a result, maybe that ends up having negative cash flow. So now we can't invest that money back into innovation, R&D, to be able to come out with that next NPD and that new innovation. In some cases, with a lot of new regulations coming out, this could even lead to carbon fines. Particularly in certain regions, is becoming much more prevalent. The great thing is that there's a way to address this. And really what we're looking to do is get to a point like this, where similarly following that cycle here, we might go up and come back down, but we want to be able to launch under target cost or carbon and be able to sustain that and find ways to reduce that over time. And when we take a look, and what we introduce here is the aPriori platform, what we're really doing is connecting all these teams across the product development cycle with insights at speed and scale to help drive profits and lower carbon footprint. So if you think about those insights on the left, carbon, cost, and DFM, with the aPriori Manufacturing Insights platform, we're enabling design engineers through use of AP Design. You got a little glimpse of that earlier in the product demonstration. We also have a separate tool here, AP Pro, for experts in sourcing, estimating, manufacturing engineering, cost engineering, to really look at this in much more detail, an ability to analyze this using AP Analytics on the bottom here, where all the teams can start to look at reports, dashboards, and various analytics to hone in on the right part at the right time. We have AP Generate, which is a PLM integration tool. We can send information bidirectionally back and forth to PLM, back into aPriori, and now we can collaborate as a team using cloud technology in real time using AP Workspace. We're now able to get to these positive outcomes, higher profits, lower carbon footprint, as a result, driving our market share up, share price up, and now we've got more cash flow to be able to invest back into the business. As we wrap up here and take a look here at how the different steps within aPriori. First, it's all starting with the model, the 3D CAD. We start to analyze that and upload it, either single part, many parts at once, a full assembly, complex assembly, or an individual part. We upload those models. And then we start to analyze that in different digital factories. It could be one, it could be many different regions, different suppliers. It could be in-house or with a supplier. There's many different options within aPriori to analyze these insights. But we start to review those, but we really believe it's not just about reviewing these insights. We need to be able to take action and deliver value. Some of the examples that we show here with costs, it could be just, we don't even know what our should cost is today or target cost. Now we start to develop that so we have a target and something we're working towards. Maybe within manufacturing or in operations, I want to be able to decide make versus buy. Should we outsource this certain part? Can we make this in-house? And what would be the cost difference maybe if I move this from one region to the next? Maybe there's tariffs coming up or something in the supply chain that I now need to make a change with where we're going to produce this part. And then from a design perspective and manufacturability, I'm getting these DFM insights in real time. Manufacturing feasibility and sustainability, I'm also getting the carbon footprint baseline. And now I know specifically how to improve my design for sustainability. So we've been doing this for 20 years, and now we're working with many leading global manufacturers. And if you take a look here, across many different industries, from industrial to automotive, electronics, aerospace, to agriculture. And we're doing this throughout the product life cycle. In this example, we have Flex here, who improved win rates early on in quoting, to Dana, who identified savings for design. Alstom, if we go along here, who implemented the zero RFQ process. And then we have AGCO, who standardized a repeatable solution for manufacturing cycle time. And then lastly here, Carrier, who's using aPriori for actionable carbon insights to achieve their ambitious 2030 ESG goals. I want to take a look here at wrapping it up all together. How does PTC and aPriori work together to do this and achieve profitable and sustainable products? Well, first, if we take a look at Creo and Windchill and pair that with aPriori's platform with aPRO analytics and design, really what we're doing is beginning to connect the two platforms through aPgenerate. Windchill provides the digital twin, CAD, production parameters, and PMI, and aPgenerate analyzes that entire BOMs and sent back to Windchill to have those insights. And Windchill's product definition is now enhanced with information critical for decision making they use as gate criteria. So if you think about this as program, product, project managers, now I have that information to help support my decisions along the way. As a designer, I'm using AP Design to get those interactive visuals to have cost, carbon, and guidance along the way. And now I know exactly which parts to focus on using analytics, and I can, as I iterate within Creo and change designs, I have in real-time, on-demand feedback to know as I change that design, what's the impact to cost, carbon, or DFM. There's many other stakeholders across the life cycle, as we saw before, that can use and benefit from aPriori insights, from procurement and supply chain to renegotiating a fair market price, to plant management for optimizing capacity. And then lastly here, cost, value engineering, manufacturing to support all these business functions across the entire cycle. And so that gives you a really good idea of how PTC and aPriori are analyzing profitable and sustainable insights to help you deliver on your business outcomes. I think now we're actually going to go to Q&A due to time. And so I really thank everybody for joining in. We have a couple minutes here at the end to grab some Q&A.
Thanks a lot, Chris, for a fantastic overview here. So as you said, let's open up for any questions. And please raise your hand in Teams, and we will let you speak up in the call here. So let's see if we have someone here who would like to go first. Otherwise, I had one question here right away, actually. And I've always thought of aPriori as a costing tool, but now I see that you are doing quite a bit more. But can you please also speak a little bit about where is actually aPriori heading in the future?
Yeah, absolutely, Toby. So we absolutely are a product costing tool, but we also are much more than that. And so that's really reflective when you see the Manufacturing Insights platform bringing together different elements. So as we design for costs, there's many other trade-offs we might want to take into account. Carbon and cost together are becoming really important. And so we're really looking to leverage the model and use that information so in real time designers are making those changes. So a lot of and everything what we're doing is based around the model and the modeling and that our teams are doing and the great work there. And then the manufacturing insights on manufacturability. So it's really the power of all three together in an automated fashion to integrate and work really well with the tools you're using today, such as Creo and Windchill.
Thanks a lot, Chris. We had one question in the chat here. Is it possible to use aPriori without Windchill?
It is, yes. So that's one part of aPriori is integrating through Windchill. That's one option, but you can still use aPriori. Let's just say you're using Creo, and without integration with Windchill, you can still get that feedback directly in Creo and integrate with aPriori as well. So good question.
Thank you, Chris. Also, one other question here. How do you actually get started with any kind of implementation product with your solution? any kind of, I mean, specific stakeholders, I mean, from the customer who should get involved, and I mean, who is doing the implementation? Is it you doing it? Is it the customer, or do you need a partner to do that? How does it actually work?
Yeah, so that's probably likely dependent on the customer and what they're looking to do. But as you can see, there's many different use cases, from design, product engineering, to procurement, sourcing teams. It's really all the teams working together, because that's really the power of it. And we're doing the implementation on our end, working directly with our clients.
Okay, thanks. Could you also elaborate a little bit around, I mean, your business model? I mean, for any kind of, I mean, customers, I mean, interested, I mean, to go ahead here. I mean, could you tell a little bit more about how it actually works?
Could you expand on that, Toby? Like, what you mean, how we go to market, or what?
No, the business model for any kind of customers who would like me to buy your solution.
Got it. Okay, so we have several different packages to choose from. We'd be happy to have that discussion with teams, if there's interest. And so with aPriori, you get access to cost, carbon, manufacturability, and how you want to do that. And there's options if you want to integrate with PLM. We have packages and options for that, and so it's difficult, I would say, to explain over the phone here and on the call. But I'm happy to get into that with individuals if there's interest there.
Fantastic, thanks. And one other question here, I mean, how do you see, I mean, is it, I mean, design and product engineers owning the product cost, or is it typically another department, I mean, also doing that? And how does it actually work?
Yeah, so again, dependent at each company and the culture, but we've seen teams where design engineering, we have an executive advisory board, and several VPs, former VPs of engineering, have previously used aPriori, and actually have had to report out on a monthly basis to, let's just say, the C-suite on product costs, NPI targets, how are we reducing this? So very much cost is owned by design engineering. But it's hard to say one group, I would say, owns cost. All of us play a role in reducing costs. And that's from early design engineering to sustaining engineering, later on procurement, quality. It's very relatable for all of us. And we're actually seeing that a lot of the big name management consultants out there have come out already with their 2024 reports. And not surprisingly, many of them are saying the top initiative for many CEOs and leading manufacturers is reducing cost.
Yeah, and just from a former customer's perspective, let's say, doing an initiative in cost, whether it starts within engineering, whether it starts within manufacturing or procurement departments, the entire enterprise is involved, let's say. Yes, design engineer, they have the biggest impact on the geometry, which impacts cost eventually into manufacturing, but also procurement, making decisions or looking at different regions in the world where to manufacture something, having the best connection with your supply chain, have this open dialogue with your suppliers in terms of how to manufacture something, like you saw in the video earlier, getting that insight for the different departments. Well, this is a very valuable tool to have in every department within the enterprise. But more, from a personal perspective, looking at design engineers, well, getting that kind of insight from, or that knowledge, that expertise in your fingertips is very valuable.
Right. Thank you, David. One last question here also, I mean, how is actually generative AI, I mean, supporting your solutions, and how do you see, I mean, Gen AI, I mean, part of your solutions, I mean, 2-3 years, I mean, from now, what kind of strategies are you having around that, or?
Yeah, a lot of discussion there, a lot of interest from customers there. It's a very hot topic, right? And it's going to change how we all work. And so, we're going through discussions about what's the future there, but what we're seeing from a lot of our clients is they're actually already using aPriori data to feed into their Gen AI and AI projects and initiatives. All right, so we have clients that are taking aPriori cost data, get a lot of rich insights within aPriori. It could be on manufacturing processes, it could be on regions, and they're now taking this data because they have a lot of it. You can run thousands of scenarios within aPriori, and now they're taking this and feeding it into their own AI initiatives and projects to now start to look at multidisciplinary design optimization. So designing for costs, maybe it's also quality in another aspect. And I have another tool where I have that information. Now they're looking to bring it together. What we find though is it's really in the power of the data. If you don't have the data, arguably the power of AI, generative AI, can be limited, right? And your ability to differentiate yourself is really in the data that you have. So we're seeing companies really prioritize generating insights through aPriori to really get a hold of their data, to scale it across teams, and now to use Gen AI to go and let's just say accelerate a lot of the business outcomes we just talked about today.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. And time is unfortunately running out, so many thanks everyone for joining, and of course a special thanks to you, Chris and David. And so with that, I hope to see you back already next week for a session about enterprise product cost management with aPriori again and PTC. So please stay tuned for that and have a fantastic weekend, everyone.